morning, everyone. How are you doing today there? I hope you were all great. A lot of lessons coming, isn't there? Interesting, huh? But, you know, the importance of all of this is one's spirituality and their spiritual growth and being strong in your knowingness of what you know is true and sort of thing. And you'll always be tested on that till you really know what you know, and then they'll leave you alone. I will say this. There's right currently a lot of purists out there that think and that's what's happening. I've warned you guys about this before, and you're just seeing this now more and more. And it develops into narcissism. It develops into strong egos. And then people start feeling bad around them that these people are doing so great and they're so above everyone in their health and so smart, and everyone's just, you know, feeling bad that they're not a purist, and if they eat a little wrong, it's bad, bad, bad. And I want you guys that work with me not to feel that way. That's people like Durian Ryder and these people like that. These people heading for a big crash, and you'll see it, you'll watch it, and it happens every single time. Happened to David Wolf, and it'll happen to a lot of people. And they got going way out of balance because these guys are young, they don't have a clue, they're not grounded in experience, and this is what happens. So I don't want you guys to feel that way, because you're beautiful spiritual beings having a human experience, and the human experience on this planet's rough. You're trained for generations early on in your consciousness in terms of the eating. You're lied to constantly. It's a struggle. And those of you that are healers have to be balanced, because you have to work with every level out there. And for someone to assume that everyone is going to suddenly be a purist is ridiculous. A lot of other choice words could be shown that. So I appreciate you guys for all the good comments I'm getting from you and stuff, but realize that this is what happens when you get out of balance, and going real raw like that can get you out of balance. And my good friend Dan knows that well too. Me and him talked a lot about that at the class. And now Dan, and that's the beauty of Dan, you know, he's growing so much spiritually, and now, you know, you get to see where you get trapped, and you fix these, and you go on, and that's what these other people have to do. Don't you feel bad 1 minute that you can't eat 30 bananas or 60 bananas or anything ridiculous like that. This is all ridiculous thoughts, in my opinion. If you're hungry, eat up. And I've been, when I was total fruitarian, I could polish off a bushel basket of oranges in a couple of settings. And yeah, there was probably, what, 12 oranges at a setting. I had 5 settings a day, so that's about, what, 60 oranges a day. But, and I felt good at that. That was perfect, you know. So everybody's unique in whatever they can do and whatever they can handle. I was young, now I'm a little older, my body can't do that. Even with the raw, I'm quite energetic, quite satisfied. I don't need food. Matter of fact, I eat food to bring me down a little bit because the energy is intense. And so there's a lot of different levels to this. And I think you're seeing these purists, and I've warned about them again, they're all over the place, and yet you'll find where they're not so pure. So it's just a kind of a mindset that's on this planet. They don't understand the spirituality of things, consciousness, atoms, the fact that you can't kill anything. Suffering, we've talked about that before, big deal, we all have it. You see me, I can't handle suffering. And that's a whole different story. But to sit there and think you'll never put a little bit of this in your mouth or a little bit of that in your mouth, and down you on this and down you on that, that's karma attitude. And it'll whip back and get whoever's got these attitudes, and it'll humble you. Let me tell you, it's good to stay humble. If not, you're going to get humbled. I'm just telling you, this spirituality is a real growth. It's a real fact. If you claim you want to have God consciousness, then there's just a certain road you have to walk down, and balance would be a good one. That's all I can tell you. And it's not about what you eat. If you think that if you're not doing raw, you're not going to experience God, you have a big thought coming there. And that's about what's being insinuated in places, is that if you're not a purist and all of this, like coming down on us for cacao, and David Wolf sold cacao, and you know what I'm saying? It's just everybody's coming down on everybody, and that's the negative forces. And we're not going to allow that on our channel. The people that want to Google bull crap stuff or put it on there, we're going to take you right off, because we're not going to allow the negative forces to come in on us and control us and affect you guys. I'll protect you as much as I can, and we protect ourselves. And that's what's important here, is that you gain strength and balance. Balance is everything, because when you, and we're in the human condition, you have a big balancing factor all the way to high raw, high fruitarianism. On this channel, I only talk about detoxification and the road to Wellville. How you choose to live your life outside of that is what you do. Of course, you might be detoxing for a year or two, and you're going to set in some pretty good habits. And when you break this, you'll probably be a good high raw fooder like we are. Most of us here are pretty good high raw fooders. Yes, we do cook foods once in a while, steamed vegetables and stuff like that, and I really don't care what people think. I'm not a 100% raw foodist. I would love to be a 100% raw fruitarian with Yaz over there in Thailand. But, you know, there's no judgment. And if I can keep you guys away from judging, looking on your health, that's where it's at. So I just want you guys to relax and don't feel bad if you can't be a purist, because I don't teach purity anymore. It's too out of balancing, and you're seeing it already on our site. And then people get vulgar, they get mean, you know, and every other word is a cuss word. These people have no business on our site. Our site is one of love, dignity, humility, balance, all of the refinements that we need as spiritual beings, giving love to each of our brothers and sisters, if you will. And I even hate to use that word, because they're not true brothers and sisters. They're all a part of us. At one level, we're all coming from the same source. We are of the same source. We just have different states of consciousness, different experiences on our journeys. And we have to allow for that. Someone can sit there and chug down a piece of ribs and barbecued or French fries or whatever. I'm not going to judge them. I don't care. I know where it's going to take them. Okay. You know, they choose that. But to get up there and be real pure and to make everybody feel bad that they're not a purist, don't you dare feel bad. I think you all have done fantastic. You guys are kicking butt. I'm real proud of you guys. You've done well, but all this is maturing some of you that want to be healers. And I think it's real important to take consideration all that's being said here. Once in a while, you'll get a wacko like this one lady or something that said, we almost killed her or something. I don't know what she was saying. You know, she had to go to a medical doctor. Well, there's a lot of frail people like that out there. Then you're going to run into them that just can't do the programs. They might want to. They might have good intentions, but they're too febrile in their emotions and too unstable. So they freak out with a healing crisis and go directly to the medical doctors. You know, it's like, okay, whatever, you just said that was your lack of your understanding of your journey. So you see some of this once in a while where people whacked out, and you know, people do plant different things on sites and try to arouse controversy and everything else, and it's just the negative forces stirring up. But it makes for good experiences for all of you guys in terms of being strong in what you know to be true, and strong in that you don't let people bring you down like that. You just can't let that. You got to give love to everyone. You might not like certain people, which is okay. Nobody says you have to like everything, but you have to have the divine love. And that divine love is for everything, because you see God literally in everything. And that's what you need to work for. And God has to be loving to itself, because that's all that exists. So it's important that you love yourself and respect yourself, because you're no different than anyone else, and no one else is any better than you. It's just not happening. This is the false sense of the id, the ego, and these people ride on these ego waves, and there's just nothing you can do about it. Yes, we'd like to remove all the toxins out. Somebody sent me a list of all the toxins in some of the pharmacy products here. We never know. Look at Jason Winter's products. Jason Winter's very well known naturalist, but look, you know, has a lot of crap in these products. Well, you don't know that until you order the product in here, and then you're going to see some of that. You'll never get away, I don't think, into a high pure form of even natural health products unless someone like us make them. You know, we are coming out with as many products as we can, and they're not going to have anything in them that would even be considered other than botanicals or such. Once in a while, there's something you have to put some ascorbic acid or something in just to maintain its integrity. Some of that we have to work out. You know, I look at these breads, and a lot of them use raisin juice and stuff like this as a good preservative, and this is what we have to learn more of, how you do those things, you know. So I just want to talk to you about being strong in your commitments. I'm real proud of all of you. You've done real well. You guys are detoxing. Some of you are finally out of pain after years and years and years, and that makes my heart really glow, because suffering is not where it is, and anybody who's suffering, we're going to help them. Death, just excuse me while I go to my next body, or excuse me while I go home, or excuse me whatever. But you know, this is just journey after journey after journey. This is just a big a place for experiences, not real. They're like soap operas. One scene, and then that's gone in another scene, and that's gone in another scene, and that's gone in another scene. It's you that's the importance. It's the viewer of the scene. So you guys have done marvelous, and I'm real proud of you. And don't beat yourself up. Sometimes you have to cheat a little to keep your sanity. I've seen this for years, especially with the older folk that used to these high-cooked diets and stuff. Not easy to go. And you don't expect everyone to become a purist right off. That's ridiculous. So you're just seeing that these purists and how that ego, when they cuss every other thing. This one website, 30 Bananas, they're always cussing on it and ranting and raving and stuff. And it's like, no, you guys have your own website. That's kind of a place there that nobody really cares to go. That's a big whirling mass of negativity. That's not what we want. We want a whirling mass of love and respect and humility. Because it isn't what you do that's important. It isn't what you eat that's important. It's who you are that's important. And once you understand that, then how you conduct yourself. This is Green Helper 7. This is Dr. Morris. Oh, you're looking well today. Thank you very much, Green Helper. Thank you so much. Yes, I could get myself in shape even more and more and more, get the hair back, my colors. Coming. Question. This past week was a very rough detox week for me. During that time, I developed an aversion to kale and cauliflower. Yeah, I can understand why. Cruciferouses are tough. And these foods are tough. Could there be a connection between those sulfuric foods and my body's trying to pull sulfur out? Absolutely. I've seen people that have a lot of sulfur in them. They can't do the cruciferouses because they have so much gas and swelling, and not good. I'm different than other people, so don't get mad, but that's just what I teach. But I don't find anything super healthy about the cruciferouses in the first place. You know, we have this fantasy about sulfur being some magic gas, and it's like, yeah, magic, all right, hurts when it's going out. No, there's nothing magic about sulfur compounds, in my opinion. That's a medical thinker again. I don't really get into the sulfurs for what we see, and we've seen it in the last couple of days. A lot of the sulfurs with all the finger stuff and all the itching. These guys have tremendous amount of fungal problems and stuff with the sulfurs. So, yeah, you are going to find just what we're teaching here being factual. You're going to find it because all we try to give you is factual stuff. So an example is the more fruit you do, the less vegetables you want to do. So an example is the more fruit you do, the less vegetables you want to do. You're raised on a very high level of energetics and simplicity, and I say that, and fruits and berries and melons have all the nutrition in them. But I see man pulling away from vegetables in the future, especially when he learns the value of fruits, berries, and melons, and they start growing and picking them. Hello, Dr. Morse, I have a question for you. Yeah, somebody had a question here I want to make sure I get, because someone had asked this before. This is it?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay. Friend of my friend have a tumor in spinal cord. Oh yeah, this is the one I wanted to talk to. And there's another one here though, but I definitely wanted to do this one. had a tumor in the spinal cord or around the spinal cord, either way, and doctors gave up on her and said they can't do anything about it, and said to her she will die soon. It is just a matter of time. Could you please address this in your next video? You betcha. Miss Raw Flower. Beautiful name. Absolutely. Well, there's only one road to walk, and this is a road where I would hop up on really the high fruit, berry, and melon level and fast that level. And I say fasting, it's not going to be fasting. It's staying at that level raw. I'd really put the power to the metal there and get up, work myself up to the fruitarian level. High grapes, high cherries, high blueberries, maybe mangoes in there, those detoxifying fruits, and really hit it hard. On the herbal side, you want to do a lymphatic, I'd do lymphatic 1 capsules to pull on that bowel wall, probably do a GI broom, open that up as quick as possible, stomach and bowel, then I'd hit off with a liquid lymphatic. I'd definitely hit the kidneys. Kidney, say 1 capsules, I would say, and liquid kidney. Remember, I've got 3 new kidney formulas coming your way, and they're busters, boy. I'm excited. What do you see when I put together? You're going to love them. I mean, the tablet's already shaking like this, and I'm going. And every time I look at my depression formula, I had one for years, and I didn't really like it. It wasn't those wow factors. This one, every time I turn the page to the depression formula, I get a smile. It's like immediately. I can be sitting there tired at 2 in the morning and open that up and I start smiling. So I think that's going to be a good one. You know, so we'll see. It's going to be smoking here. But you really want to open those kidneys and adrenals and get this tumor out of you because it's the only way you had. Now, with that said, if it gets too much and you can't get this out, I highly recommend you call and get the black salve guy's name here that we can help you and he can help you get the black salve or find a source for yourself and pull that baby out of there. At least do that. This is one time where when you got a tumor on the spinal column and she has, or he doesn't have any, and it's how fast can you move that out? Are they getting paralysis from it? Are they getting numbness from it? And then really want to move. This is the time where even the FDA, you got to admit, FDA, when the medical profession can't do anything, scoot aside. She has a right to live, then she has a right to use the black salve. Pull that tumor out. That'll start giving some reprieve. Keep working on the lymph system, and you probably will be able to save this case. Boy, I would. This is kind of an interesting. I like the lion head with this sort of thing like that. TONIMT. 84. Pretty cute. Hi, Dr. Morrison. Which books would you recommend for getting started in iridology? Warm regards, and warm regards to you. Love your thing. Definitely would do the Dr. Jensen's work. That guy was working on the computer and setting up computers way before I think computers were out. Dr. Jensen was so far ahead of his time in iridology, it even shocked me. I couldn't believe it, you know. But we've also found other things on past that too, and that's why I say to you guys are going to perfect what we're doing here. I'm just some farm boy that came along and just see things a little differently, but you guys are going to take this and go even higher, better formulas, whatever. You know, that's the goal. We want you to. That's the point. We don't want to control. We want the best healing system this planet has to offer. We need it. It's our birthright, and we've got to get rid of these modalities that are hurting people so much. We have a change that has to happen. Well, problem is our economy's based high with everything. Everything's so locked in that you can't move. It's either charge more and borrow more and all this. It's like, no, there's a time where we're going to have to rearrange things, and a lot of people are going to be, going to have to rearrange what you're doing. It's just like you. There's a certain point in your life where you have to make changes. You can't keep going down the same road. And it's the way with health. Sometimes there's a point where you just got to focus on your health. Sometimes I get that way. I go, pick a little of this, pick a little of that, and then pretty soon I got to get myself back straight totally again. But I expect that. I expect that to be normal. I don't expect, I have no idea of being a purist anymore. My whole focus is God now, not health. And so, I'm going to be what it is. But when you're in need of health, this is the way you have to go. But yeah, Bodine, Jensen, he wrote one book, but Jensen's books really I like the best. That one I showed in the class, Practical Iridology, that's a horrible book. No offense to the girl, but it's German iridology, but it's fakey German iridology, half misspelling. A lot of the things are inaccurate in her book. Pretty book, though. But I don't know. I'd stay with Jensen's work, and now his work coming back out there. Thank God. So try to do as much of his work. Keep in mind when you enter German iridology that a lot of differences, and one of the things that steeps me is that the eyes don't change. That has to leave, because we have proved this, and so did Jensen. It used to fry his bacon that German iridology would make that claim that eyes you're born with the indications that you have and you can't change them, and you've seen eyes change here like crazy. There's no way. That's stupid. It doesn't exist. German iridology needs to refine itself and move on past that, and let Jensen's work come in and bring it up a little higher. That's all I'm saying. But learn iridology. It's a simple science. It's easy, and boy, is it helpful, because you got it right there. You got your pictures. When you guys send me your pictures, which I'm going to be talking about these pictures here in a minute, well, they're just beautiful. I can, when they're done right like this, I can see all your problems. This was done pretty good. I like the way these eyes were done. Did you see these?
Yep.
Did you see these? And so we are, things are settling down. We're going to give you some lessons with iridology on the YouTube. We're going to do several things. Once they answer those 5 questions, and I give them 5 more.
Well, the hold up.
Yeah, what's the hold up?
Boy.
Yeah. All right, Michelle or Michael, ZP1. Let's see, Dr. RM, I have a question. You pay too little attention to natural kidney filtration capacity in KFC. Okay. You say that you lost a client because someone recommended him to drink lots of water. Oh yeah. No, that was a Lou Gehrig's case where he drowned her for sure. And that's not difficult to do. Question, please expand the issue of NKFC. That is natural kidney filtration capacity. Versus drinking water versus water quality versus hydration. How does it work, distilled water on the kidney or NKFC? I notice that distilled water hydrates the body very well. It tastes so good that I desire to drink it. When I first tried, just felt like I did not drink any water for a long time. Well, you don't use water to hydrate. If you're using distilled water to hydrate, then your thinking is off, because distilled water is acidic. Hydrogen is always the acid element. That's where you're getting the pH scale, the potential for hydrogen. And hydrogen is the element that's in everything. And the more hydrogen, the more acidic. So you got 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen, and makes water acidic. What makes water more base is the elements that it comes out of. The earth, the mountains, wherever. And it gets electrolyzed, and you've got energized water. I have been a fan of distilled water for a lot of years. Now I'm a fan of good mineral water. I think it makes my bowels feel good, but I'm not opposed to distilled water. I push it in my book. It's just, some of us older guys distilled water was the thing. But I talked about this yesterday. Distilled water isn't good in plastic. Remember, when you have something that's void of chemistry and something that's robust with chemistry, that's osmosis. You're going to pull that which is void. You're going to pull that which is full into it. You're going to see the balancing, the homeostasis of life, of chemistry. And so you're going to see that. So I don't know if you enjoy distilled water. You enjoy distilled water. Can distilled water pull any heavy metals and the like out of the kidneys? It's possible. It's possible to have some leaching effect on heavy metals, but I would say that you would probably have a leaching effect of a lot, because the same thing would happen. But you can't hydrate with distilled water, nor can you hydrate with other water, even an 8 pH water, because the problem is stagnation of the lymph system. And stagnation of the lymph system comes about when kidneys lose over time their ability to filter that lymph system. Well, you get it back and step another foot backwards, you've got adrenal glands sitting on top of the kidneys. And right now today, adrenals are probably the worst endocrine glands there are of the group. And they're serious, and so we're having serious kidney problems. Neurotransmitter, we talked about this before on other videos, but the dopamines and the acetylcholines of the kidneys in terms of the neurological aspect of kidney function, and then you have the chemistry and the cellular function of it, which is handled more by the cortex where the steroids are. So you have those two things that are impacting the mineral ratios and all of that, and how that plays with kidney filtration. And capacity would also be directly related to interstitial lymphatic constipation too. If you think about kidney capacity, you're talking about that which is not obstructed versus that which is obstructed, in the ability for the factors of the kidneys to filter. But I don't see anything here. True hydration really exists when you start filtering the lymph system and you start getting these fluids moving well. Blood moves fairly well anyway, but getting the lymph to simultaneously filter properly and keep these fluids in somewhat of a semblance of activity, I think is where you're going to find true interstitial hydration, because hydration is truly interstitial, and the problem is there's no real way to test that. You know, if you wanted to test interstitial hydration of the liver, you would have to get a piece of pH paper, or get aspirate some of the interstitial fluids of the liver and then test it. You could needle aspirate, I guess, some of the interstitial fluid and then test the pH, but I think it would be I wouldn't do it. I don't think I would do it. You got invasive, you're going to damage cells, and you're going to set up that whole inflammatory process, and if you're not moving lymph, could end up with a problem there. So I don't know how else to answer your question there, my friend, with that, but it's definitely a good question. But there's not a hydration there like you think there is. Oh, this is C. Basie. Here's another one here. Good deal, my friend. What do you think about fasting on wild grapes, wild strawberries, and wild blueberries? I think anything wild is going to be the best over anything that's obviously been mutated, if you will, modified, genetically modified. But I'm not talking just with pesticides and things like this, but just modified in any way and get the seeds out of it, like these watermelons and stuff like that. Whenever you genetically modify anything, you start to lose its, and you start hybriding things. We've got a lot of hybrided food out there, so anything that's wild, I think, would have a heck of a lot more nutrients and power to it and everything else. Yeah, same question here, so I'll use that one to write into. Now, listen, Sam Kurz, you're a beautiful woman, and I thank you for that comment. Your comments go well, because we're always battling those people that are emotionally unstable here, too. I feel sorry for people. We're trying our very best and as fast as we can to stabilize all these people, so just hang in there. Some people jump and make opinions pretty quick. 2, back at 2. Yeah. This is Prodigy Master 69. I think I'd rethink the name. Your herbs almost killed me. An old doctor with Western medicine saved me. Thanks to Robert Morse, I owe lots of money. What the hell are you even talking about? I can't believe someone would even say something like that. We do good work, done real good work. If you have problems and you're really that sick, then you've got some work to do. All there is. You can't get with it, then don't get with it. And that's why I say walking with balance is important, because there's so many people unbalanced. That's the problem. Could you know if it normally takes a length of time to have a question answered by Dr. Morse? I originally submitted. This is the question Chris gave me to me, and I really apologize. This is from Kim, Salata. Salata, thank you so much. I apologize again if it's taken too long. please call in here. This is about a 3-year-old girl with cerebral palsy. I thought I'd got that, but maybe I didn't. First, thank you so much, Kim. I love you too, dear one. Thank you so much for your anything. My cousin has twin girls, one of which was diagnosed with cerebral palsy and cannot walk without a walker. Now, can we help this girl? You know, I remember, and I'm just trying to remember the name of that. I don't think it was Wallach. One of these real well-known celebrity nutritionists. And he was on a radio show, a syndicated radio show, and I was listening to that radio show one night in my car coming home from a lecture. And the question was something in regards to cancer or something in regards to fibromyalgia or something that's very curable, if we're going to use that word, not related to diseases. And this guy, this famous guy, said, no, natural health has nothing for her. And I just about split my gut. I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't know who to call. I wanted to rip that guy a new one. Just because one person doesn't have success with something doesn't mean some other practitioner doesn't. I'm always have my eyes open for those that are having success with things, because that's what the bottom line is. The bottom line is to get this poor little girl away from cerebral palsy. And do we have something for her? Oh, yes. We regenerate tissue, and it doesn't matter where that tissue is, does it? It can be at the top of the head or in the little toe, right? There's nothing we can't regenerate. It might take you a while. It might be some ups and downs and detoxes. Absolutely. Some of these people have heavy metals. They're all strung out emotionally. Their emotions get the best of them. Absolutely. You have all these kind of people out there. This planet offers a myriad of levels of consciousness. And that's one of the biggest problems of being a good, loving healer, is you have to put up with all these wackos. And, you know, no offense, you know, these are sick people too that need help, but they don't want help. They come with all good intention, I suppose, but then on the other hand, when you try to help them, they whack out. And there are just some souls on this planet that are just very unstable right now. And hopefully, as things move along, we'll, you know, through all the good karma and everything, and that's what I'm saying, people just start creating good stuff. You know, because mostly you're going to experience everything you create. That's the problem with this. You're the one going to experience everything you create. I mean, all these people causing all these accusations that are not true and creating all this slanderous type of stuff, karma's going to chew on their lunch. You watch. Just watch. Because this energy is now all of us. And with this big ball of energy with all of us, it's going to start flipping back these people. And it's like, ugh. So anyway, they were, let me see, everything else is fine. No brain damage, perfect, it's just her legs. They were advised to try Botox, but they did not get the results they were looking for. Jesus Christ. Have you healed anything like this? Absolutely. It just seems like the message from the brain is not reaching the legs. Thank you for your help. Kim, listen, honey. First thing is, how old is she here? 3 years old. Well, I like the fact that she's 3 as opposed to the fact that she's not 60 or 70. Now, the first things first, at 3 years old, she needs to develop brain, doesn't she? Big time issue. For all reasons, right? Just to grow and, you know, look at that 9-year-old that's beyond a genius. It was on the news yesterday. 5 years old, he was performing and writing music. He's a concert pianist at 5, I think. He went to med school at 9, aced it. He's 21. He doesn't even register on the intelligence scale. He's so far out there. I mean, that's amazing. And I see a whole bunch of these high souls coming into this planet. And you moms that are doing the raw foods are going to get them. And these are high souls, so there's going to be a lot of changes to this planet. Man's going to have to let go of all this crap he's hanging on to. We need a lot of changes, and changes are good. A lot of people think change is bad. They get so constipated and used to it that when someone makes a little change, they freak out and they're psychic. You've got to be able to change every moment. Everything outside of you must be able to change at any given time and not affect you at all. That's when you're resting in the arms of God. Is when nothing matters. Everything is going to happen according to the divine plan. And your Sukkar is the Supreme Being, or the Creator of God, however which name you want to put on it. And then you start giving that love and respect to all its creatures and in every shape or form that's out there. Doesn't matter. You should be able to put your arms around a big old meat eater eating a big steak at the same time you're chewing down on an apple. What difference does it make? It's the choices that we make. Shouldn't have an opinion against them for doing that. That's the ego. So on this little girl, I would definitely get her on a fruit, berry, and melon diet. Period. That's it. You might do some coconut. Coconut would be good with that for the fatty acids, no question about it. If not, you might want to supplement a little 6 or 9 on there, or some avocados. You can make chocolate with avocado and stuff. You can work with that. But for sure on the herbs, upper circuit, brain, and nerve is always going to be the 2 formulas of choice when you have neurological disconnections. At the same time, you're going to pop up on those adrenal glands because you know at 3 years old she's got a horrible set of adrenal glands and kidneys. It just comes with it. If she doesn't, she's one lucky little girl. I would go just like you're going detox. Think detox, think detox. And the reason is that when you see the suppression of functions of anything, it's rarely the blood. And in the process of going after the lymph, you're going to clean the blood and enhance the blood. So it's a given. It's just a given anyway. But going after the lymph is removing any acidosis that could be chomping down on the central nervous system or anywhere else. At the same time, you're going after the kidneys and adrenals. You're cleaning up the gut. So this little girl can grow, her intelligence can skyrocket, and all neural synapses are all repaired and fixed. Myelin sheaths are rebuilt, and that's just what you're going to have to do. High fruit, berry, and melon diet. Obviously, 3 years old, that'd be the perfect food. And the coconuts, you've got a perfect food source for that child. Going to grow extremely strong, extremely smart. Got plenty of everything in that kind of diet. And of course, you're going to go after the brain and nerve function. You're going to go after the endocrine glands. You're going to go after the lymph systems. And definitely go after this girl. And you will pull her totally out of that cerebral palsy. I can tell you right now. And she's young, so she's going to pull herself right out of that. You can do that. So this is, again, you might want to check the parathyroid gland in case her pituitary's down. So she's utilizing calcium. That's going to be one key component in neural synapses. So again, the parathyroid would be a good place to check. Check all the endocrine glands. Make sure she's not cold. There's a good chance she's got some pituitary going on there too. Is she too short for her age? Is she too tall? Where are we at with that? And looking at the pituitary with this. And so there's a lot of things we can look at and correlate with this. But you should be able to heal her up fine. Get her on the fruit diet. Just explain to her that she's going to go on a diet and a way of life. Not a diet, a way of life. You know. Hi, Dr. Morris. I'm so blessed to have found. Oh, thank you so much. This is Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. YouTube and Iridology. I got enough of your videos. Oh, thanks, sweetheart. I'm studying Iridology now and would appreciate any advice you would share about my eyes. And I think these are these. This is Debbie's eyes. Isn't this nice how you can see like a 3D look deep into the eye there? Isn't that pretty neat? I really like that. That's a real nice picture because you get to see the different layers. And when you turn the eye, as these fibers pull up, as you go from acute, subacute to chronic, it sucks these fibers up off the eye. And this is a good eye to see how the depth of that, how it is. If you turn this eye sideways, you would see these fibers at different levels of depth. So anytime you see these deeper areas, like you see these deeper areas, like in these furrows or the lacunas, crypts or lesions, whatever you want to call them. So I'm looking at, what do you think? Am I looking at a blue or brown eye? I'm looking at a blue eye. Now, all the yellowish in there, subacute stages, you might have some shattering of some sulfur in there, a few other drugs, look like there's some iodine here. So just as a quick look-see, here's what I got. Right eye. I better come down here for the right eye. That right kidney, not real happy, honey. So that right kidney, you want to get that right kidney in shape. That's the one that's not real happy there. With that said, this upper femur that goes into the hip, a little bit of a problem, and so is the hip on the right side there. Got a lot of inflammation in the hip, and of course not filtering through that kidney. The knee isn't too real happy either. So you got to watch that knee there. You might lose that knee if you're not careful there, and time goes on down the road here. I'm either looking at bladder. I would probably even do, if this was a female, I would douche with some Hill T there. I don't like this one spot in that area there. The bladder's a little bit of a problem. Lower back, of course, for the kidneys. But when you get mid-back, you've got some couple of deep issues there going on there. You get up into the throat there, and this is the sore throat ready to happen here. Get up in the pituitary. Yes, there's the pituitary is an issue here. You've got some spots up in the right head, even in the left brain, but up in the right brain. You need to get up in here with upper circulation of brain and nerve at the same time. Clean your sinuses out so you can repair these spots up here. Real important to do that, dear one. Got a little spot, of course, we're working with the right ear, the mastoid, the medulla, the cerebellum. These are... important to get up into that part of the brain, and that's your equilibrium center, and so you want to take care of that. Right side, bronchial trunks, just clean them up a little bit. I get down around here. This could be right breast. I'd have to map this out, but gallbladder's not real happy there. Actually, that might even be not so much the gallbladder, but the pancreas. It's right there by the hip. And let me see here. Yeah, I would say that, yeah, I'd say pancreas for sure. And that would also impact the right ovary there, by the way. And want to get that taken care of. The appendix could be a lot happier. Now when we shift to your left side of your body, same thing. Now you got a lot of lymphatic work to do here. You got a lot of lymph nodes that are swollen. You just got a lot of lymph there, dear one. Just got to move all that out there. The bowels are between chronic and subacute. More subacute probably than chronic. Transverse bowel. Got some prolapses going on. I looked at the parathyroid. I don't see much going on there. Yeah. Yeah, the bronchial trunks, you know, you got to clean your bronchial trunks out, clean your lungs out, because the bronchial trunks on the left side, a little beat up there. With that said, I'm looking at a little left ear. Now, I really am looking at a big cerebellum weakness on the left side here. And that is your, again, your equilibrium, your dizzy center. That's where your blood pressure that flips high to low comes from. This is a big area for you there. Coming around, we got, again, some upper back, some T-spine weaknesses. We got some lower back weaknesses. And let's just see here. Yeah, I would get the Hill T and douche with that. Got some female areas on the left wall, vaginally speaking, and need to really heal that up a little bit. I don't like how that's looking there. Also with that, you got a little rectal wall weakness, and the left kidney is not happy. You got a little degeneration in it, so you really got to tear after your kidney, sweetheart, real yesterday. Pick up the adrenals, no question. The knee looks better on the left side, but you got a lot of inflammation in the knee and the upper portion, and also down at the ankle. Shifting around here, what are we looking at? Ovary, or are we looking at we're looking at hip again. Not as bad as Well, yeah, not as bad as the right, I don't think, but definitely an issue there a little bit. Really, though, the female, the rectal wall, the kidney, that's a big beat up there. A little bit of the bladder, too. You got the lower mid to lower back on that side. Pituitary a little bit, pineal gland, that's asleep. But right up here, you want to get that sinuses and get your body cleaned out, dear one. You got blue eyes, and you need to turn them magically to blue. So I hope that was helpful to you. Thanks for sending them in. I want to thank all of you again for being patient. I want to find some time to come in here and try to rip all this apart and catch up. Sorry. But thanks so much for all this. Thanks for your comments. THIERRY66. Let me see here. This was an interesting question here. I have a question about fasting and fasting strategies, considering that when we are laying, we have more energy for detoxification, but on the other side, when laying, lymph movement are reduced. What could be the best fasting strategy? Is it lying all day in bed? Do European hygienists recommend? Now, I found that interesting because I've been in hygiene, most of my life, and I never knew that that was European hygienist thinking was to stay in bed. I remember we had a Shelton fasting clinic down here in Bonita Springs, which is right below Fort Myers and close to Naples. And, I was there quite a bit. I never fasted there because I didn't have the money, but I was already fruitarian at the time and did a lot of my own fasting. But that's the only place I could find raw books. So I studied the Sheltons and the Tildons and the Fries and, all the hygienists. And so I didn't know that. I personally don't recommend laying down all the time. I believe you should have sunshine in your life. I believe you should have some mild exercise in your life, except for when your kidneys aren't filtering well. When they're not filtering well, keep it moderate, mild, and then go up as your kidneys filter. Then there's no problem with that. I don't think one should always be sitting. I look at the animals, and yes, they lay around a little bit when they're sick, no question. So rest is really key. When you walk with rest and peace and love. And so, yeah, all of those are factors, definitely. But I do believe that laying in bed all the time wouldn't be the answer either. Now, we have quads. You have situations where you have quads and paraplegics, and you have to work with them. And that's why the beauty of the herbs. It keeps the UTIs out. It keeps the bed sores and decubitus away. It strengthens tissue. It gets their bowels moving, even when they have paralysis. So there's a lot of great things, although, caregivers are not so happy. But all right, but we're rebuilding. So, yeah, there's a lot of situations that come up where people are in sedentary positions, and thank God with the fruits and with the herbs, we can move lymph without them moving. So, yeah, there's a lot of that we can do there. But I do recommend some mild walking and swimming and stuff like that just as a natural daily thing. I like getting out in the sun. I think everybody needs to get in the sun. I don't care what's going on with it. We need to get out. Did everyone see the big halo around the sun? That was a shocker. That was pretty wild. I almost couldn't look at it. But it was like a rainbow, a sun rainbow completely around. That was incredible. I was just wondering what that meant. To favorite, I know that muscular exercise is not the only way to move lymph. Well, yeah, I mean, all the astringent factors and everything else does, but being mild with the exercise is a good one there. Good question, my man. Second part, should I focus on detoxification only, or should I focus both on detoxification and moving lymph? Well, that's what is moving lymph, is detoxification. That, to me, detoxification is the process and the science, the art, and the practice of moving lymph. I have to say that is the major focus of detoxification, because blood is rarely the issue, and blood always gets cleaned up well in the process of detoxification. So to me, true detoxification is a lymphatic experience. That's heavy metals. Even the blood, remember, blood dumps what it doesn't want. So in the process of cleaning, you're going to clean the blood. That's a given. Your focus is lymph, which will clean both of those. And then you're also the end focus, or the end result, is tissue regeneration, the rejuvenation of the body through cellular regeneration, genetic remembering, all of those things that go into the revitalization of the cell. And that's exactly what you're into. And so they're both one and the same, my man. In my opinion, the second should be the best, But here in France, traditionally hygienists only swear by lying all day while fasting. Thanks for the explanation. Nah, get out and have fun. Matter of fact, you got the energy, but do it with rest and peace, you know. You know, if we walk with stress, we need to walk with peace. If you can. Sorry for my poor English. No, that's fine. I love your country. I love south of France. For the next class in September, I hope to see you there. Thierry, Theory from southern France. I was down there at Shania Twain's place. Visited a lot of your fine dining experiences, but I found that French chefs, even if they're the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3, they just don't get with vegetarian cooking well. They cook meat like it's going out of style, but vegetarian cooking, I was at the second famous chef in the world, and they had some kind of rice, white rice, cooked with some kind of delicious sauce. And I'm looking at this, and a few little other things here and there, and it's like, what? Oh well. I love you guys. You're great. You're the best. Hang in there. Be strong. Be committed. Be focused. And be love. I love you guys. You have a fun day today, and it was a real pleasure talking with you. Be strong. This is a world that needs strong healers, and we as one will do that for us. We walk with balance, we walk with respect, we walk with humility, and we're here. We're God people. We don't need anything. You don't need to beat my ego up. You're not going to hurt me. I don't care. Yes, we walk with God, and that's the key, is that we're God people. Not in a religious sense. We're in the sense of that's who we recognize who we are. And the power is there. So you all have fun today and give love to everything you see. And see everything as God. Try that today. Try this today. Everything you look at, see it as God. Everything. I don't care if it's a mother-in-law. Everything you see it as God. Including every little atom in the air, every little plant, every little flower, every little animal. Just see it as God. And it is truly here, God helping God. Love you all. Bye-bye.